I'm going to talk to you about Big Potential, which is a grant programme designed to help organisations get support to become investment ready. So in a way, it's taking you back to a much earlier stage of organisations' growth and development, and it's very much designed to help organisations address some of the barriers, get over the hurdles that Mick mentioned that have been identified in the report earlier today. So it's for organisations that are a bit nervous about social investment and who are just trying to understand what their opportunities are. Just first, very quickly, a bit about social investment business. We're a SIFI, so a social investment finance intermediary. We see our role as helping social sector organisations access finance to do more of what they're good at, so deliver more social impact. And we do that through a range of loan funds and grant programmes, of which Big Potential is one. We've been running since 2002, and we have a parent charity and a trading subsidiary to sort of fulfil our function. So we have a similar structure to a lot of the organisations we invest in. So, Big Potential. As you'll see from this slide, it's designed very much for organisations who are in their early stages of growth or looking to scale up activity. And the idea is that it provides advice and finance to help organisations at that point. I've mentioned investment readiness, and I think it's important just to sort of backtrack a bit to sort of explain what we mean by that. For a lot of social investors is that what they're looking to do is that they're looking for an investable pipeline of organisations. So that means organisations that are ready to take on an investment and are able to successfully use it to grow their organisation and repay the investment at the same time. So what does that mean in practice? There are about 4 key areas that investors will look at when thinking about investing in your organisation. Firstly, who are the people running it, and that's both the leadership in terms of senior management, but also the governance. How well is the organisation governed? What sort of oversight does the board have on the organisation? And what are the skills and experience and track record that those people have? Then about the market that you're operating in. So how well do you know your market, the product services that you want to deliver? What research and evidence have you got in that space? And also who are your customers and how do you engage with your customers? Thirdly, performance. How well do you do what you're doing and how do you track how well you're doing? So that is a lot around how you measure your impact and look at the performance, the quality of your input into your local community or your service users and the track record you have. And then finally, your finances. And that's both in terms of the health of your finances as an organisation, but also how you manage your finances and how you report on them and how you use those finances to deliver your business. So that's a bit of an overview as to where Big Potential sits in terms of helping you to get investment ready. Just a bit about it overall as a programme. It's funded by the Big Lottery Fund and it's delivered by the social investment business. There are 2 strands to Big Potential. One is breakthrough and one is advanced, and I'll sort of touch on the differences between those in a short while. On breakthrough, we're working in partnership with 3 organisations: Charity Bank, Social Enterprise UK and Locality, and I'll explain their roles as I go on. Evaluation is important to Big Potential, and we're working with the University of Northampton to evaluate how successful the programme is and to see how we can improve on it as the programme runs. So, the 2 strands. One is Big Potential, which is a £10 million grants fund, which has been running since February 2014. And will be open to applications until April 2017. It isn't just a grants fund though, it's a space for organisations who are thinking about repayable finance, repayable investment, and thinking about how it can play a role in their income generation strategies. but it's not saying that it's right for everyone. So the idea is that Big Potential provides resources and information to help organisations identify if it's right for them. Primarily it's aimed at organisations who haven't raised investment before, and at those who are looking to raise repayable finance of up to 500,000, so $500,000. Big Potential Advanced is a newer stream within the programme, and that opened, I think, around June this year. Just looking over at a colleague to get the right date. And this is for organisations who are further advanced in their development and are clear that social investment could work for them, and have a potential deal already fairly well evolved, and need help to close that deal. And the advanced route is also available for organisations who are looking to win contracts. A couple of things that are unique about it. It's not just about skilling up, it's about being able to develop alongside seeking financial investment. So it's a sort of two aims within the programme. It also gives organisations access to high quality specialist support, because as part of both strands you will work with providers, some of whom are part of the guys next door, so do go and meet some of them. So, Big Potential Breakthrough, what does it offer in practice? There is a diagnostic tool, which is an online tool, which I'll talk about a bit more in a minute, and there are grants on offer of between 20 and 75,000 for specialist business support. And there's also a website with resources and information about social investment. In terms of process, there are 5 key aspects to the process, and I'll go through those in a minute or two in terms of what they cover. We reckon that it will probably take up to 3 months to get all the way from the first stage through to actually getting a grant if you are successful. But it can be quicker, and a lot will depend on the stage you're at and how quickly you're able to move. So, firstly, check your eligibility. There's an online eligibility check on the website, so I won't go through this in detail, but a couple of key aspects to it. It's for organisations in England, it's for voluntary community or social enterprises that are working towards benefiting their community. It's for organisations who have a track record of delivery, so it's not about helping startups. However, if people in your organisation have track record from elsewhere, then that can help in that context. The other thing to note is that it's not for organisations who need help to cover core costs. The money can't be used for core costs, so you need to be in a financially healthy position. We can't use the money to rescue organisations whose future looks uncertain. It's very much about supporting the next stage of growth. Having completed the eligibility check, the next step is doing the diagnostic tool, which is an online assessment tool of about 50 questions covering key areas such as finances, governance, market and impact. I'm not going to talk about that in detail because Hannah and the team, Marina and another Hannah, will be running a masterclass this afternoon around the details. So again, echoing Melanie said, keep the detailed questions for those 3 because they're much more involved in it than I am. Once you've completed the diagnostic, you'll get an investment readiness report which will give you an honest assessment of where you are in becoming investment ready and where you ought to focus your efforts if you take it further. A lot of organisations find just completing that tool useful in itself, even if they don't take it any further. Once you've completed that tool, if you decide to submit it to us, then we will do a quick check to ensure eligibility, and then you'll be invited to attend a one-to-one session. And this is where our partners, SEUK, Locality and Charity Bank come in. They will provide advisors to meet with you, usually via Skype, but sometimes face-to-face. And their role is to act as a critical friend, to ask key questions about what your plans are and help you think through more clearly how you might use a grant. You'll get a further detailed report on that, and you'll also then have an opportunity to apply for a grant. So, for example, you might have a report that says that you need to do some work on business planning, financial modelling and impact reporting. You'll also get access to, at that point, to our directory of big potential providers, as mentioned, through there, some of them, there are more. And on our website you can spend a bit of time looking at what your options are for choosing a provider. You can look at the geographical base for them, what their key skills are. And we encourage organisations to spend as much time as possible on that, because you will be working closely with these providers, and you need to be sure that you can build a good relationship with them, because that is a crucial part of how successful you will be, both in terms of getting the grant but also subsequent investment raise. You'll need to make a decision as to the type of grant you apply for. Broadly speaking, on Breakthrough there are two grants, two types. There's the preliminary grant, which is for between 20 and 30,000, and that's for you when you're thinking about you haven't got an investment proposition yet, you need to do some early development work to get to an investment proposition. There's also investment plan grants, which are for between 40 and 50,000, and that's where you already have an investment proposition but need to build it up, make more of a case, take it to the next stage to be able to raise investment. You apply for a grant, the decision is made by a panel of investors and sector specialists. Final decision then goes through to big lottery for approval. If you're unsuccessful, we'll provide feedback, and basically then you get on with the grant, and all we ask is, in return for the money, is that you provide us with monitoring to see how things are going, and also take part in the evaluation. So that's big potential breakthrough. Just a couple of slides on advance, which is at a further advanced stage, or for organisations at a further stage of their development. You need to be looking for investment of up to 500,000, over 500,000, I always do that, apologies. So breakthrough is if you're looking for money up to 500,000, advanced is for those looking for money over 500,000. But also it's for those who are looking to win contracts to the value of $1 million and above. There are grants of between 50,000 and 150,000 to undertake investment and contract readiness work and to work with a big potential provider. You don't need to go through the diagnostic tool or the one-to-one support, and that is recognising that you are going past that stage and you've done more thinking already on what you need to do. Eligibility, pretty broadly similar to Breakthrough, other than the size of investment you're looking for. So you need to be looking for $500,000 and above. And finally, the process, again, broadly similar, apart from you don't do an online diagnostic or do the monitoring element. There's the eligibility check on our website. If you pass that through that, then you can start thinking about talking to a provider and what you might use the money for, make an application, and then a decision. And on that note, there's a lot of information on the website and a lot of resources, so I would encourage everybody to look at that. We've got a stall through there with more information, and the team is there as well to answer questions. Now, much more interesting is somebody who has actually benefited from the fund, so I'll hand you over to Louise. Thanks.
Hello everyone, can you hear me okay? Yes? Good. It's a pleasure to be here to talk to you about our experiences of applying for and receiving a big potential preliminary grant which has helped us to become investment ready. So just to start by telling you a little bit about our organisation. It's not the Democratic Republic of Congo, it's definitely a disability resource. We're a leading social enterprise operating in Birmingham, Solihull and the West Midlands. We deliver high quality, innovative and cost effective solutions to address the needs and barriers faced by disabled people and those with long-term health conditions. Since our inception in 1992, we've supported over 75,000 disabled people. We're a charity and a company limited by guarantee, and as such we're governed by a highly skilled and experienced board of directors. Day-to-day operations are led by myself and our strategic management team. Now, we're also a user-led organisation with 80% of our board of directors and 75% of our workforce classing themselves as disabled or having a long-term health condition. Moving on to current market considerations. DRC has traditionally secured most of its income from public sector contracts and grants, allowing it to deliver services free at the point of delivery. And in view of public sector spending cuts, there was a need for us to reconsider our current business model and to migrate into new commercial markets which played to our organisational strengths. And those included our reputation, knowledge and standing, networks and partnerships, track record in delivering public sector contracts, including the Social Impact 1 contract, and previous experience in commercial trading. Now, we also wanted to grow our organisation and grow our organisation's capacity to grow the organisation. So I was tasked to develop a 3-year growth plan for the organisation, and that had 2 key objectives. Firstly, to secure additional public sector contracts in more areas of the UK, to deliver more services to disabled people free at the point of delivery. And the one that's probably more relevant to the social investment business was to launch some new commercial trading products and services to disabled people, and indeed a wider market, that would be chargeable at the point of delivery, the profits for which we could then plough back into the delivery of the free services. Now, one of those commercial opportunities was to launch a help at home service. As I'm sure most of you will be aware, the UK has a growing older population, and what we wanted to do was try to support that older population to live at home independently for as long as possible. And research shows that the population is not only living longer, but there's a corresponding increase in associated health conditions and disabilities. So we developed a help at home service offering packages of support, which included things like cleaning and tidying the home, laundry and ironing, running errands, shopping, garden maintenance, handy person services, befriending, transport for hospital appointments, GP appointments, things of that nature. We'd undertaken our research and we developed a 3-year business plan for help at home, but in order for us to bring the service to market, we needed social investment. So were we actually investment ready? Not quite. So organisationally, we are a progressive, forward-thinking organisation, but the prospect of borrowing money to grow required a cultural and operational shift, as I think is probably the case for a lot of organisations here. We needed to build a longer-term financial model that was geared up for investment, which we didn't currently have in place. We needed to introduce new systems and controls geared up for business-to-consumer commercial trading, which we also didn't have in place. We needed to improve our understanding of the markets we wanted to penetrate. And staying true to our charitable status, we wanted to be able to demonstrate very clearly the social impact of our new commercial trading ventures. So our experience of the social investment business, big potential opportunity, how do we get involved? Well, quite simply, I happened to receive an email promoting the launch of the Investment Readiness Fund, and the timing was perfect for us. So I went through to the website, read the advice and guidance, and went through the eligibility check that Caroline referred to earlier. So the process we went through to receive the preliminary grant was straightforward and not particularly onerous. The first thing we did, sorry, this presentation is not quite in the right order, there we go. The first thing we actually did was select our approved provider, which I know is a little bit back to front compared to what Caroline was saying, but actually we wanted to make sure that there were some providers out there that we could work with and that this whole process would actually work for us. So we were very clear that we wanted a provider who understood our potential market and who had the expertise in the areas we thought we needed to improve upon. And having reviewed the list, I arranged a meeting with the teams at Cogent Ventures, who I understand are exhibiting today. The Cogent were very supportive of our organisation all the way through the grant application process, which has been extremely helpful to us. So we weren't on our own completely. So the next stage was to complete the online initial diagnostic tool. This took about 2 to 3 hours for us to complete, but that was because I did this with our strategic management team in order to get a more rounded view. We received a report back from Social Investment Business fairly quickly, which identified various areas for improvement in order for us to become investment ready, and those fitted with what we thought we needed to do, which was always a good thing. So moving on to the telephone interview, we had tried Skype a couple of times, but it didn't quite work, so we reverted back to the telephone system. But that was really helpful. The assessor went into our results from our initial diagnostic report in a lot more detail. And this was a really friendly call where I was asked to talk openly and honestly about our organisation. And that's a bit of a departure for most organisations, to talk about the things you might not do quite so well with a prospective grant officer. But actually, that's exactly what CIC Potential want you to do, because they really want to understand what your development needs are and what would help you to get investment ready. So the outcome of this is that we were invited to make a full application. And the application form asked a series of questions based on what we wanted to do, where we were in terms of investment readiness, and the actions we needed to undertake with our chosen provider to become investment ready based on the diagnostic report. So I completed the application form actually working with Cogent Ventures, our chosen provider, which was quite helpful. And the whole process took about 1.5 days to complete. So moving on to the grant award, we received notification of our grant award by letter, and we received 90% of the grant up front, which was really helpful. The remaining 10% was released on completion of the action plan that we referred to in our application form and the submission of an end of grant report, so fairly light touch. We were assigned a dedicated grant officer who has been very approachable and very helpful throughout the whole process. We were then entrusted to get on with delivery. We did this within a 4 to 5 month period working with Cogent Ventures. So, how the preliminary grant has helped our business? We now have a robust 5-year financial modelling system in place to meet our commercial needs. We have a greater understanding of our social investment needs going forwards. We have an improved knowledge about the commercial markets we want to penetrate and what our unique selling points are. We've been able to pilot and review the Help at Home service, and we've been able to demonstrate and report on our social impact. So the critical thing is, are we investment ready now? Yes, I would say so. So, in conclusion, if you're sitting in the audience today with a commercial plan that could be realised through social investment finance, do give social investment business a try. We wouldn't have got to the point of being investment ready as quickly as we did without the grant, and we wouldn't have been able to afford to appoint the specialist providers to build our organisation's capacity and to work with us without the grant. So, thank you, Social Investment Business, much appreciated. And thank you for listening. I'm around for the rest of the day, so if anybody wants to sort of catch up with me on a one-to-one basis just to talk about our experiences, please feel free to do so. And I hope you enjoy the rest of the event.
Great.